Well, we're past the halfway point for the virtual circuit racing British Touring Car Championship as we head to Little Budworth in Cheshire for round 5 out of 8 for the season, live here on the JP Broadcasting Network. As this nearly 2.7-mile circuit at Oulton Park International is going to be the scene what is going to be a fantastic race. You join Alex Goldschmidt and James Parfitt with you once more, back after my slight hiatus after last week. But really interesting in terms of the championships. It is getting really tight at the top. Jake Hewlett leading the way on 154 points as we are just past the halfway point here in time qualifying a 20-minute session. Josh Haythwaite in the Penrith BMW rounds out second place, 13 points adrift, followed by Ben Hayes on 103, rounding out the top three. Trafford King and Luke Woodhouse round out your top five. Trafford King and Luke Woodhouse both on 96 and 95 points respectively. Chris McIntosh, Lee Southall, Dave Price, Alex AJ and Matthew Addy round out the top 10 with Eric Bolton, Ben Gibbons, Justin Kirk, Jake Waldon, Daryl Moss, who makes his return in the Ford Focus, rounds out your top 15. 8 minutes to go in qualifying. And, well, let's welcome in the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. James Parfitt in the booth. Good evening, sir. How are you? It's a wonderful circuit to be racing at tonight.
Bonkers in my office at this moment in time. I am sweating out. I've got two fans pointing at me, one at the computer as well, and I still feel like I'm sitting in Satan's armpit. I've got to be honest. It is absolutely bonkers.
Well, yeah, he's not the only one because I'm roasting as well, but the action on circuit will be very, very exciting at the moment. Jake Hewlett in the Coupe Leon Competition, currently leading in qualifying but just over a tenth from Trafford King. So the fastest lap time so far, 1:38.789. Now, Oulton Park has been in use since August of 1953. This variation, the international circuit, so we will be using the chicanes at Britain's and Hislops, is going to provide a fantastic backdrop. And of course, Trafford King, where are you going? That was going through Old Hall Corner. Code Brown 360 gets it pointed in the right direction. But of course, we have to say congratulations to Steve Ryder, a man, a legend in broadcasting. Funny enough, last week was his last presenting duty at the helm of the Quick Fit British Touring Car Championships live coverage. So, Steve, on behalf of us all here, all the very best of luck with your well-deserved and well-earned retirement. But, you know, the cars are going to have a real test, as are the drivers tonight here, JP, because Oulton Park International, known to be a roller coaster.
Oh, dude, we're going to be kicking off, and it's going to just start from the beginning. I don't even know how this is going to work out or what the situation is going to be here. Islands is going to be very, very difficult. Shell Oils, of course, is going to be very difficult as well. And it is just going to be absolutely bonkers. I've got to be honest, I think this is just going to be mental, but I'm looking forward to it as well, and hopefully we should be able to get some great racing going in once again, and I suspect it will be great racing as well, so looking forward to this as well. I will say one thing, Jake Hewlett has got a new livery on his car, but it ain't showing up. AC does not want to put it where it needs to be, so it's unfortunately it ain't there, but he's got a lovely black and green livery at the moment.
Kunos says no, in other words, then.
Yeah, basically, it's just not loving it. I've stuck it in the cars file, I've stuck it in Content Manager, and I've restarted and it ain't happening as well. The BTCC broadcast had my teary Steve will be missed. Okay.
Yeah. But nevertheless, it's going to be interesting. I mean, the thing is, we've got the top six rounded out by the number 9 Coupe Leon Competition of Dave Price, rounding out the top six, covered by a second. But it's in these final 4 3/4 minutes where drivers are going to really have to put pedal to the metal. Trafford King this time manages to make it through Old Hall rather than spinning it and needing to check his virtual underwear afterwards. That's going to be one of the biggest points, especially going 2-1 into Cascades. Shell Oils. And especially if we see 2 or 3 wide going to Lakeside, heading into Island Bend, because if someone is towards the outside of the left-hander, what's going to happen, JP? There's a big old tyre barrier, and they're going to be welcomed in front bumper first.
Yeah, they are. I don't know how the grass is affecting here on this circuit, so it's going to be interesting to see if they are going to hit that or whether or not they can get the car stopped. Josh there in that BMW, still carrying ballast, of course. Let's not forget that. BMW under ballast as well. We go into Britain's, and blimey, that was well. Unfortunately, sir, that was your own fault due to the fact that you took a lot of curb on the entry there as well.
Yeah, wallop bang straight in and backwards nearly into the barriers was Josh Haythwaite, currently P3 at the moment. He's managed to close that gap to Trafford King. Of course, when I was last here, I think, what was it? It was Snetterton, and it was a BMW 1-2 with Trafford King, Josh Haythwaite leading the field pretty much from lights out to checkered flag. Ben Hayes looking pretty racy in the number 27 Napa liveried Focus ST. So he's going to make his way through out of Lodge Corner into Dearly. So it's up and down the dip, across the line. Personal best of the opening sector for Ben on that particular occasion. His best effort of 1:39.530. And all the way down to Chris McIntosh down in 8th. The top 8 have gone sub 1 minute 40 at the least, and of course, yeah, you're going to see a lot of that, as in smoking rear tyres, particularly from the front-wheel drive vehicles as we experienced at Snetterton just a couple of weeks ago. There's still 3 more rounds on the calendar, as the season champion will be confirmed on the 18th of July. Look, quick question from my side. Did we get any confirmation on where the final round is going to be hosted, JP?
Yes, I believe we did. It's going to Vallelunga, I believe.
So we got one trip to the home of British Motorsport for Silverstone Grand Prix next week, and then on the 11th of July, staple on the BTCC calendar normally, Brands Hatch Grand Prix, so the full 2.5 mile circuit will be used. But Jake Hewlett set that time very early in the session. He only did 2 laps, whereas everyone else, Luke Woodhouse, who finished 4th back at Snetterton 300 2 weeks ago, currently rounding out the top 5. He's probably on his 11th lap in qualifying. He's just going through into Shell Oil's corner as we speak, as and as I say that, Jake Hewlett just decides I'm going to stay in the pits and watch everyone try and beat my lap time. Bit of a twitch there coming out of Old Hall corner by Trafford King again. That time managed to keep the BMW pointing in the right direction without spinning it 360 and doing a Jim Garner impersonation.
Yeah, do you know what's worse? Jake has messaged me, right, because we've been trying to sort this livery situation out and we just can't get it to work. He said, I've only done 4 laps today, including the 1 qualifying lap of practice. That's all he's had. So 4 laps, and one of them was the quali lap. That's all he's done. And he's put it on pole position. So, don't really know what that could say about everybody else on that one, if he's only done that minimal amount of laps and everybody else has done more than that as well. But this, as I say, poor old Jake, he was so excited about his new livery, and I do deeply apologise, Jake, but it just ain't loving it. We just cannot get it to work.
So, into the final 20 seconds of the session. And the sole Honda Civic Type R, John Hale in the 52. Funny enough, the same number as the man who's now with the official Toyota GR work squad, run by Speedworks Motorsport Flash, Gordon Shedden. John has put down a lap time of 1:42.657 as we hit 0 on the time, and to conclude the qualifying session here for round number 5. Josh Haythwaite at the moment not improving across the board. He's making his way down into Lodge Corner, hard on the brakes in the BMW, turns it right down Deer Leap, and then across the line he will go. What was that lap time? Well, his last lap, that would have been that was an out lap effectively. You're showing a 3:18.4, so that would have been an outlap and gather some temperature into the tyres after spending a little bit of time in the pit lane. But Jake Hewlett once again just showing his mastery. I mean, he's had 3 wins so far this season. He had a win at Croft, one at Donington, then Thruxton, but then it was Josh Hathwaite who led pretty much from lights out to checkered flag back at Snetterton and has taken 2 seconds and a third. Ben Hayes, his worst result at the moment has been Thruxton last time out, but managed to get a top 3, 3rd place, funnily enough, at the season opener in Croft, and has finished just outside, I think 4th for both Donington and Snetterton. Trafford King, well, wasn't with us at Croft, then did 2 second place finishes, and then finished outside of the top 4 at Thruxton. So even though that Jake Hewlett has got 155 points, there is still a chance over the next 4 races, including tonight's one, that he can be caught.
Well, he can, but it is a very long shot, isn't it, from anybody else? They've got to try and stop him, which is not always easy, to be blatantly honest with you. So we'll see how they get on. They've got to get over the top of him straight at the beginning, right? That's going to be the imperative thing here once again. They've only got 14 laps, so it's not exactly long. And at the moment, the 138 is not going to take long at all. So they've got to get over him at the beginning. Trafford King has got to get on top of him or squeeze him at the beginning or try and do something to him at that beginning of the race. I'm not saying take him out, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying he's got to try and get there as well. So Andy King, come on, TK42, 97. Come on, Josh. There's there as well.
Yeah. So we are just waiting for the last couple of drivers to finish off their qualifying session here at Oulton International, measuring just 2.692 miles, and has always provided close quarter action. Of course, that's one of the things, the barriers being so close. We've seen it before multiple times, JP, that especially if you're close to a certain section of the circuit, and if there are still barriers on either side, there is a threat of being pinballed from one corner to another, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. There's, there's lots of things that could go wrong. Let's just put it that way in this game. And I think it isn't going to be any different, to be honest. But qualifies finished. Try left-hand side is your results.
So Jake Hewlett takes pole position for round 5 of the Virtual Circuit Racing British Touring Car Championship, and Trafford King will line up alongside him in the BMW 330 M Sport. Josh Hathwaite and Ben Hayes will round out row 2 ahead of Luke Woodhouse, Matthew Addy in the Hyundai and the Toyota. It's Cupra versus Ford on row 4 with Dave Price and Chris McIntosh. Row 5 completing the top 10 will be the Cupra of Ryan Barker and Alex Jarrett in the Hyundai. Bosey and Ryan Turner in the Hyundai, and the Ford will round out row 6 ahead of Darren Moss. Justin Kirk with John Hale rounding out the 15 competitors that will take to the 2.692 mile circuit. So as JP rightly said, 14 laps. So you've got to be on your A game from the words lights out, effectively. And this is, I think, in many respects, the along with Brands Hatch, 2 of the oldest circuits that we've effectively got in terms of old school. What I mean by old school is that the barriers bite, and they bite hard.
Absolutely, and it's not going to be easy, especially through the chicanes as well. Down through Britain's is not going to be easy either. Coming into Hislops is not going to be easy. There's all of these things that they've got to contend with, and they've got to make work, and it's just going to be very, very difficult indeed for them to try and do that. So, yeah, hold on to your hats, ladies and gentlemen, because this is going to be very, very big, fast and exciting, I think is going to be the word.
Yeah, so this and 3 more races to go for the Virtual Circuit Racing British Touring Car Championship. So we'll head to Silverstone next week, Brands the week after, and then Vallelunga in Spain on the 18th of July to crown the season champion. But it is going to be Hewlett on pole. Just waiting for, I think it's John Hale to jump on the grid. He's still showing in pit lane. We've got about 45 seconds until the countdown concludes, and then we can put the red lights on the gantry, and then the revs will rise. Ready for racing here for 14 laps at this wonderful circuit, a circuit I've had the opportunity to be a spectator at. And going to Cascades, that left-hand down camber is very, very different to images on TV, and pictures don't do it justice. You have to see it in person on the spectator area just off of Denton's. But the countdown continues. The drivers are primed and ready. So once this countdown gets completed, we will be under starters' orders for round 5 out of 8. Countdown has concluded. So 14 laps, red lights ignite on the starting gantry, and round 5 out of 8 for the Virtual Circuit Racing British Touring Car Championship is underway. Good start by our pole sitter Jake Hewlett and Josh Haythwaite, managing to get up into second early doors as they go through into Old Hall for the first time. It's going to be the run down the avenue. Ben Hayes a little bit wide on the exit, but still using the outside curbing to maximise his entry point as they go through Cascades. Nice neat turn in by Jake Hewlett as the field makes its way. So Hewlett leads, Haythwaite in second, Trafford King, Ben Hayes, Luke Woodhouse, and there's the scramble. Bosey is stuck in the middle. There's two battling in front of him. It's going to be Kirk and Barker as they go into... Oh, and straight away the Toyota's off. So is one of the Focuses. Oh, dearie, dearie me. And that just goes to show Ryan Turner up the inside of Bosey. They both come into contact at Shell Oils. Matthew Addy in the Toyota making his way through into Britain's. He's right on the back bumper of the wonderful camouflage livery number 9 Cupra Leon of Dave Price, which has also got the area motorsport.
He's been bumped.
Oh, that is definitely a bump there. Big time as they fire their way out of Knickerbrook. And then it's going to be the run up towards Clay Hill.
Haythwaite's off.
Oh, Josh Braithwaite is tumbled big time. And that is John Hale, who's definitely well in front of him. And I think possibly John Hale did the right thing. Just keep his nose clean, keep out of trouble, and keep the Type R Honda Civic on the road. Locks up the brakes as they will now head through the back part of the circuit, and towards the outside goes Josh Haythwaite in towards what will be Lodge Corner, and then they're going to head into Deerleap. And well, Haythwaite loses the back end, manages to keep a hold of it, but it's Hewlett leading by over a second from Trafford King. More dramas at the back end. Well, that's actually Alex Jarrett, body in white Hyundai i30, as we ride on board with the number 9 of Dave Price. Matthew Addy, the leading Toyota Corolla GR Sport, currently runs P5. Luke Woodhouse is up ahead of him. So is Ben Hayes, who's now up into P3. But big dramas for Josh Haythwaite as he tumbled all the way down to 12th position. You can see the locking up as they go through to Jello's corner. Now on the power. Then it's the quick sort of flick-flack chicane, as I like to call it here. It's left, right, left in rapid succession. Got to be not too hungry on the curbing going into Britain's, and then get the power down early.
Yeah, he has. He's got to make his way forward as much as he can. Price at the moment, he's lost a little bit of time. They're fighting a little bit further up as well. Addy's having a little bit of a ding-dong. He's got McIntosh closing in behind him. Woodhouse is also there with Hayes in front, and Trafford King sitting in second place, of course, trying to chase down Hewlett, is 1.4 seconds up the road. Does look like Moss has lost a couple of positions. Hale and Haythwaite have gone past him. Turner's also looked like he's lost a couple of positions as well. So Turner losing 2 because he lost 1 to Moss, and then, 1 to Hale, 1 to Haythwaite. And Moss has lost 1 to Turner, 1 to Hale, 1 to Haythwaite by the looks of it. So a couple of people losing positions left, right and centre at this moment in time as these guys carry on.
Ben Hayes, fastest overall in the middle sector of the circuit, as we have now completed lap 2 out of 14. Lead that Jake Hewlett has over Trafford King, coming up to about a second and a bit. Well, it was a second and a half, but that BMW starting to stretch its legs. Drama there for Ryan Turner in the Focus. He pulled to the right-hand side of the circuit. He's got Moss just behind him. Turner has dropped all the way down to 13th position. So the two Napa Racing Fords line astern as they come out of Cascades through Lakeside, now in towards Island Bend. Still stay in each other's wheel tracks for the moment on the run up to the hard braking zone at Shell Oil's corner. Very deep right-hand down camber. Again, it's just wait until you can modulate the throttle well enough to then fully accelerate out of the corner and head up to Britain's, where you've got to be on the brakes again, but it's a quick turnaround with the steering as Moss followed by Turner. Turner's got the headlights on, but Jake Hewlett at the meantime still keeping a comfortable gap at the moment, but there's only going to be a case of when. Now, you said about ballast on these BMWs, but the way that Trafford King is keeping within that second and a half. I know you said that they needed to jump past Hewlett very, very quickly. Haythwaite's now recovered to 10 in the second of the BMWs, and he's putting in very, very quick lap times at the moment, even though he's sucking a little bit of traffic at the minute. But it is that case of if Hewlett keeps on making any mistakes, as Dave Price nearly into the back of Chris McIntosh heading in to Old Hall corner. The number 9 area motorsport, Cooper Leon has definitely got the legs on the Focus at the minute.
Yeah, he's having a good old go, Price, here at the moment as well, coming in through the left hand of Cascades. He's now going to try to get alongside up through Islands. That Cooper Leon does manage to make it through. Is he going to hold that inside line? He does hold it, but unfortunately it's the slowest route. And you can see McIntosh just roars away right at the beginning. There's somebody in the barrier there as well. That's Matthew Addy. He's stuck on the left-hand side. He's just going to try and come back on as clean as possible. I don't think it was clean.
No, it wasn't.
I think there was contact there. And I think it may have been Barker. Barker off the side of the circuit through Shell Oils. He goes here. And he's going to have to try and go again. But there was definite contact with Addy in that little exchange. But at the moment you can see here Woodhouse closing on the back of Hayes as they go up the run, up in through Clay Hill, up to the water tower, and then of course the right hander of Druids.
Yeah, Luke Woodhouse running in the BRSCC Pro Sprint Sports Series was about half a second quicker than Hayes in the opening sector. Hayes managed to claw a 10th back in sector 2, so it is a bit of a seesaw effect between third and fourth as they come out of Lodge Corner down into Deer Leap and across the line. So fastest opening sector by the race leader Jake Hewlett, but Trafford King went 0.2 of a second quicker in the third and final sector. So that means that BMW is starting to gain a little bit of pace, and his top speed is about a couple of kilometres an hour quicker than Hewlett through the speed trap. But yeah, Luke Woodhouse now starting to lose a little bit of time to Ben Hayes. The gap between them is about a second, but Luke will keep on pushing, as we know he will do, right up until the checkered as he comes through out of Island Bend and then through into Shell Oil's corner. And now can he get a really good run coming out of that corner and heading into Britain's? Meantime, Price and McIntosh battling tooth and nail, the Cupra versus the Ford, as they come out of Shell Oils and head towards Britain's once again. Headlights ablaze on both vehicles at the moment, but Price looks a bit more composed through that first half of Britain's. Cuts the grass a little bit coming out of the chicane, and this is where you can really pick up a lot of speed, but then you've got to be hard on the brakes into his lops. So it's a right, a left, a right into Knickerbrook, and then it's the run up the hill, up Clay Hill, through into the water tower. Dave Price using as much of the track as he dares.
Yeah, he's trying at the moment to close as much as he can in behind McIntosh. They're probably one of the closest battles on the racetrack. The other one is Moss and Turner a little bit further down. You can see them down in 11th and 12th at the moment. They're continuing the fight there as well. Craig Jones, hello, I missed the start. You did. You were, I don't know why. You should have notifications on. It does tell you when we've gone live, and therefore you wouldn't have missed it. But if you haven't got a notification on, that's probably why you missed it, Mr. Jones. That Price and McIntosh now on that run down into the right-hander of Old Hall. Price is definitely looking quick in that Cupra Leon. He's definitely having a go at that Ford Focus here, and the Cupra are looking quite strong here.
Yeah, I think Price is trying to force McIntosh into a mistake as they go through Cascades. A little bit of a wiggle on the back end of the Ford Focus out to the right-hand side, and now Price has got the slipstream going through Lakeside into Island Bend. He's going to try not to throw it up to the inside, but can. Oh, a little bit of a wiggle there from the Cupra Leon from the back end as they both lock up going into Shell Oil's corner. We are now currently on lap 6 out of 14, and Price really has gotten very, very comfortable very quickly in that Cupra Leon. You see how he bounds over the curbing, and that is a better run by the number 9, the man from Area Motorsport. He is closing in, and this is going to be the run through Hilltop into his lops. McIntosh is going to have the inside line, but with the pace that he's got, Price is just keeping it really, really nice and clean. He's making it, sometimes they say, smooth is fast. That's exactly what we are seeing from Dave Price and the number 9 Cupra Leon, but McIntosh still holding his ground and holding the racing line for 5th at the meantime.
Yeah, big puff of smoke from McIntosh there as well on the exit of Druids now, currently on the run down into Lodge. Down, you're going to go down another crest, down another one, and there's one more just about there before you go into the right-hander. Now down the hill you go through Deer Leap, coming up on the other side. Can't see anything, just hope the car's pointed to the left and stay there as well. Now he's going to get the run in again. Price, what's he going to be able to do into Old Hall? Nothing. Does he chance at taking an off track the other side? He runs, well, he does, but he runs pretty wide. He keeps the speed going here for Price. And at the moment, that poor old Focus of McIntosh is going to be in there. A, it's going to be hot, and B, McIntosh is going to be sweating buckets.
Yep, bit of a moment there for Price coming out of Cascades, but he still has got McIntosh in his crosshairs. The battle for 5th place continues, but at the moment Alex Jarrett in the Hyundai i30 is starting to try and close up in on them. He's just done a personal best in the middle sector on the previous tour, and looking at his previous sector times, he was quicker than the 2 in front by about half a tenth, if that, and then was half a second quicker in the middle sector. So Alex Jarrett could be closing in quite nicely to these two, so it could become a 3-horse race as Haythwaite looking up the inside of Alex Jarrett through into his lops. That was never going to work on a month of Sundays, let alone it being a Friday night. But Josh Haythwaite, after that drama early doors, he's managed to make a good comeback at the moment.
Yeah, he had 2 options there. Go in alongside and completely lose your nose. Basically, that was the only way it was going to work. Or back out like he did and have another go. So he's backed out, which is a smart thing to do, and he's going to have another go at him. But full-blown Jared there. Jared was going to cut him off all day. He had the gap. He opened up the steering. Now down to Haythwaite again to try and have a go at Jared going into Old Hall. It's whether or not that BMW is going to be able to handle it here, or whether or not Jared in that machine in the Hyundai i30 is going to be able to hold on. I think, to be honest, it's probably not benefiting Jared holding back Haythwaite, especially knowing how quick the BMW is. I would, yeah.
Braithwaite's lost it through at Cascades. Oh, it's that bump in the middle of the left turn, and that unsettled him, and it's brought back Matthew Addy into play. So, well, Josh Braithwaite, it's probably going to be a race to forget for the BMW, and that puts him down into 9th place. So that is a real shame. That is going to allow Ben Hayes to close on in to him, and I think the thing is 9th place is 6 points. Ben Hayes currently, well, that'll put Ben Hayes on to 133, and that will put him 20 behind Josh Haythwaite, because the gap between them was 28 points coming into this race. So this is going to be the biggest loser for Haythwaite at the moment if it stays like it is. But we still have 7 laps to go, including this one. We're currently on lap number 8, another purple sector in the middle of the race lap by Jake Hewlett, who is now setting personal best. His last lap was a 1:39.059. He's opened up the gap to Traffic King to about 1.5 seconds as Kirk is trying to close in on Barker. Now that is for 13th position. Oh, the Cupra Leon's got off. Now, was there a little bit of an assist on that?
Well, it's more than possible. It is more than possible, but unfortunately it's not replayable possible here. But yeah, great job from these guys for keeping it out on the racetrack. Stupid place to put grass, Craig Jones says in response to Haythwaite's spin a little bit earlier on. Or are we going to look at a skill issue, Craig? Only because you go round at any point where there's grass, mate, doesn't mean everybody.
Yeah, the Alex Wirtz lack of talent situation.
But he's more of a Mazda spin, to be blatantly honest with you.
Mazda spin,
yeah. So unfortunately for Craig as well. But then again, you know, he got lost at Silverstone, so can't really say a lot.
Yeah, that's never going to go old. That's never going to be old.
He's never going to lose that tag. He'll always know that when it comes to Silverstone, Craig Jones needs a sat-nav. You know what I mean? That's it. It doesn't matter what layout it is, he needs a sat-nav. He just gets lost so easily. But he even got lost live on a broadcast, and the broadcast was like, you've gone the wrong way. You missed out a couple of corners, and you took half the field with him. So I don't know who's worse, for him for missing it or half the field going with him.
Well, he's also had one of the most spectacular crashes as well, if you might remember, through the UK Mazda Sim races as well.
Wasn't that at Road America? Where they also
that was Road America,
where
he
launched in the air.
got flipped. He got flipped.
Yeah, and of course he's had one of the most massive, dramatic things in life as well you have to deal with. So, you know, fair play for him for carrying on. But, yeah, I think for Craig, we go to Silverstone, Craig needs a sat-nav.
In 50 yards, brake hard and turn right into Stowe.
Yeah, maybe he needs to use Trophy AI. And it will tell him where to brake, where to stop, where to hold on, you know, where to turn. Wasn't my fault, I would add, about the crash. Oh, please. Never your fault, is it? Always everybody else's, Craig. You sound like a proper sim racer.
Well, meantime, the battle for third and fourth is still continuing to intensify as we've got 5 laps remaining, including this one, which are 2 leaders are just making their way through Knickerbrook at the moment. So Luke Woodhouse still chasing down the Ford Focus of Ben Hayes. So Hyundai versus Ford, they go through into Hislops, now into the right-hander here at Knickerbrook, and then it's going to be the run-up Clay Hill into the Water Tower and then over to Druids. So this has been another one of the battles that it's always the driver behind that's trying to close, and then all of a sudden you lose a little bit of time. But it depends on whether the person in front of you might make a mistake, depending on how much pressure you can put on them. And at the moment, well, Ben Hayes in the middle sector was about 2/10 quicker than Luke Woodhouse as they go out of Lodge Corner, down into Dilly once again. We've got 4 laps to go, and the gap between Trafford King and Ben Hayes measures at about 10 seconds at this moment in time. So first and second are on their way. Jake Hewlett en route to potential 4th win of the season out of 5 so far in the Virtual Circuit Racing British Touring Car Championship. But great battle here. I mean, Hayes and Woodhouse, you can't really separate them at the moment.
No, I feel sorry for Woodhouse. Because all he's got in his mind right about now is quick fit. He's been staring at the back end of Hayes' Focus for literally about 11 laps. And all he's been seeing is Cataclean and quick fit. That's it. That's going to never go away from Luke now. He just literally followed him, and he's still following him as well. Now, the problem is they need to be a little bit careful because Price is not too far off the battle. He's having a go with McIntosh at the moment. So him and McIntosh again are in the same scenario. You know, for Price, he's been staring at the blinking quick fit logo on the bumper there, on the number plate, I should say. And he ain't going to be able to get through either. And he's been following him for about 11 laps. So, you know, Hayes and Woodhouse have swapped. Woodhouse has finally got him, I think, going through Knickerbrook. Now it's the run up the hill. They're going to be side by side again. I do wonder whether or not there's contact, because that did look a little bit easy. Woodhouse is sliding through Druids. He's trying to escape Hayes. Hayes is trying to stick with him, but he's finally managed to get through.
Well, there you go. With just a handful of laps to go, we've got 3 on the counter remaining as third and fourth, Luke Woodhouse and Ben Hayes at each other's doors at the moment, battling tooth and nail for the final step on the rostrum. 30 points for P3, and this could help Ben Hayes if he gets past Luke Woodhouse in the dying stages of this race. This will bring him to within 20 points of John Haythwaite, who is still currently holding on. Well, he's pretty much comfortably in 9th place at the moment, ahead of Ryan Turner who completes your top 10 at the moment as these two fire their way through Island Bend. It's going to be hard on the brakes into the heavily right-hand down cambered Shell Oils corner. It's about how Hayes times things up. Now, of course, the move was made during Knickerbrook last time. We run on board with Ben Hayes in the Napa liveried Focus ST, as both of them take a little bit of excess grass. Hayes in the mid part of Britain's and Woodhouse towards the exit part of it into no!
Bro, you were way too far away.
That was not going to happen. I'm sorry, that was not going to happen there from.
No, he would have had to put out blinking warning signs and everything for Josh to avoid him there, and it was just never for Luke. Sorry, to avoid him. It was just never going to happen. And for Hayes, he's just going to have to go one more and try and do it again because he was way too far back there as well. Bosey's gone off and is facing the wrong way, and that, well, dirty looking liveried machine.
It looks like it's been rallycrossed.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it almost looks like a custom paint job. I don't think that's quite supposed to look like that, Bose, to be blatantly honest with you, mate. So you're going to have to go again as well. Price has dropped away from McIntosh now by about 1.3 seconds. So, and he's only got one and one more to go. So Hayes has got one and one more here to try and get this victory. Oh, try and hold on to this get this third place, I should say there, once I put my teeth in, away from Mr. Woodhouse.
Yeah, so probably got about 4 miles of racing left to go. The leaders are making their way through into Britain's as the gap between Hewlett and King, a second and a half. And it is going to be nip and tuck between the pair. Well, it's not going to be nip and tuck between those two at the front end, but nip and tuck between Woodhouse and Hayes, as Hayes has really got to do everything he can to close that gap. Its corners and laps are fast running out. The leaders now coming through out of Knickerbrook and up towards Clay Hill for the penultimate time here on this 14-lap race before we head to Silverstone on the 4th of July. And, well, Hewlett doing everything he can. He's coming out of what would have been Druid's Corner, and then it's going to be the run up towards Lodge for going through the dip for the penultimate time, as Jake Hewlett has led every single lap so far in the Coupe Relais en Competition so far. Put it on pole position. White flag in the air. Final lap underway, and Jake Hewlett still leads. Trafford King by 1.5 seconds. Woodhouse and Hayes will very shortly be coming across the line. They're coming out of the final corner now and heading into Dearly. So the gap between them could be very, very minimal at best, probably about half a second. As, yeah, it's about half a second between the pair as we run aboard with Ben Hayes. Way too wide, coming out of Old Hall. He kept the throttle pin, but that has lost him more time to Luke Woodhouse in front of him.
I think that might be done, you know. Unless Woodhouse makes a major mistake. Unless he makes a final great danger, I think that's going to be pretty much it as well. Hewlett on his one run through Britain's just got that all wrong, mind you. The BMW behind you did not get it wrong. Look at in the top mirror at the top there. You can see that menacing looking machine coming in behind it. One more mistake from Hewlett and he's going to be under the cosh here. The BMW is quite quick as well through the left. Now through Knickerbrook. The final time here, Alex. It's going to be a great run between these two. Who's going to come out on top? Is it going to be Hewlett? Is it going to be King? I'm going to find out in about the next 30 seconds.
Right, so in towards Drew's Corner we go for the final time. The gap is half a second, but Hewlett with that mistake, uncustomary for the man in the Coupe Relais on. We've got just Lodge Corner and Deer Leap remaining. Will Hewlett hang on? Final corner beckons. It is going to be not much, but it is going to be a win. Nevertheless, 4 out of 5 goes the way to Jake Hewlett. Lights out to checkered, winning by half a second. Head of Trafford King. The run to the line for third is going to be at an end very shortly, as coming out of Lodge Corner through into Deer Leap is Luke Woodhouse that rounds out the podium ahead of Ben Hayes in the number 27. And Price, will he have 6 at the line? It's a drag race between him and Addy. It's Price by 3/1000ths of a second. As Alex Jarrett comes across the line in 8th. Josh Hathwaite is He's going to class this as a race to forget, taking 6 points for finishing in 9th position. Ryan Turner in the Napa liveried Ford Focus ST is going to come across the line and pick up 10th on the road. And then we are just waiting for a few other drivers. It's going to be Justin Kirk that will be next across the line in 11th. Daryl Moss in 12th. Ryan Barker, the Cupra Leon, coming across the line in 13th. And then we've just got John Hale in the Soul FK8 Civic Type R in the old Team Dynamics Cataclean livery, comes across the line to finish in 14th. And then, well, Bosey did finish a lap down, but he's going to still cross the line. And, well, you can't exactly miss the colour of those alloys there. But nevertheless, Jake Hewlett, despite that Code Brown clean-up on aisle 3 on the final lap, managed to pick up the race win for round 5 out of 8 for the VCR British Touring Car Championship.
Yeah, he did, and it's great as well. Great to see him taking the victory. Upsetting for everybody else that he's only done 4 laps of practice at the qualifying lap, though. Not quite sure I would be too happy about that either, to be blatantly honest.
Alien.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's not that I don't like the fact he's only done that amount of practice. I think it's absolutely amazing that a guy can go do barely any laps and then come back and go, yeah, I'll take this, thanks, and go and take pole like it. To me, it's absolutely bonkers because I couldn't do that, but he did, and he done rather well with it as well, and then goes out and takes it. But, you know, if he's driven it in real life, he would have a pretty good idea of where he's got to be and what point he's got to be in this car.
Yeah, same can be said for Luke Woodhouse as well, who also races IRL in the BRSCC with that wonderful Golf GTI Club Sport that's producing the best part of just over 400 plus horsepower from a 2-litre TFSI EA 888 4-pot lump, as the field now starts making their way into pit lane. We're going to give our drivers a couple of moments just to see if anyone wants to join us for a little bit of a natter post-race. Hopefully we'll hear from our top 3 very, very shortly, but it is just the case that you know, some of these drivers will be thinking, I think in particular Josh Hathwaite, he'll be like thinking, why did I get it all so wrong? And that's not an easy one to, you know, he'll have a bit of a sour taste in the mouth and a bit of a sting to his pride as well.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what though, Alex, have a chat with him, find out.
Well, Josh, not the easiest race here tonight at Oulton Park for you, was it?
No, unfortunately not.
Just tell us what happened from your perspective. I mean, we did see you lose it whilst you were battling away for pretty solid position. But just talk through the race from your perspective, really.
Yeah, I mean, lap 1, I was pretty hopeful. Got a good run. Got in front of Traff. Got on the tail of Jake. Got settled in. Had some issues. Got past, but I think coming into the second chicane, Ben poked his nose out, and unfortunately, I ended up going around the front of it, which put me into the grass. I think it sent me to dead last. And then it was just a recovery drive. I can't remember who I caught up to, and then followed into Cascades and just dirty air. Could not slow down in time. Didn't want to destroy someone else's race by going into the back of them. Ended up going just completely wide. And yeah, it was just a bit of a struggle from there. The grass giveth and the grass taketh away, unfortunately.
Especially with the way that Oulton Park is laid out as well, truth be told. But nevertheless, you came back. You still got points on the board. But we go to Silverstone. Fast, flowing. It's going to play to the strengths of the BMW pretty well, isn't it?
I hope so. I like Oulton as a track. I don't like driving Oulton, unfortunately. I think it's unbelievably bumpy, and the Beamer is not a fan of such bumps. But I like Silverstone. I'd like to say I'm fairly good at it, but I'm not going to get too hopeful when you've got people like Traff and Jake that are just crazy good and crazy quick. But it's good motivation.
Definitely. Well, Josh, thanks for talking to us, buddy. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Oh, my lovely fiance, who I believe is cooking me tea.
Again.
Oh, lovely. There you go.
Again?
Dude.
Of course.
Did you? What did you just say?
I believe she's cooking me tea.
No, what did you say the bit after? Did you swear?
I've forgotten.
Did you swear?
No, someone said the word again, and it wasn't me.
Oh, okay. There we go. What's she cooking you anyway, Josh? Anything good?
I actually don't know. I think it's some form of pasta.
Oh, okay, mate. Well, I had chili tonight, so that was fine. Just remember to say thanks.
Yeah, I will do. I always do.
All right, mate. Well done.
But yeah, thank you to you both again.
Catch
Take
you
care.
later.
All right, cheers,
Bye.
Josh.
Bye.
And with that, we've actually got Traffic King with us. Traff, how are you doing? Bit of a tall order to try and catch up with Mr. Hewlett tonight.
I am absolutely sweating. Obviously,
aren't we all?
sweat wasn't enough, right? But yeah, puddles.
Yeah, dude, it is not good, to be honest, either. Yeah, everybody's sweating. I think Alex as well.
Yeah, it's like literally everyone's in a finished sauna with too many fans to try and cool ourselves down with at the moment. But nevertheless, a solid result in that one. P2 in the end, despite Jake having a bit of a squeaky bum time moment in the last lap. If another one of those had happened, you would have been the winner of tonight's race, guaranteed.
Yeah, we're on chat together, and yeah, I just let him go up, and then it was like, oh, I've just made it interesting. But I didn't have enough in that last sector. The BM was a little bit quicker, but I just didn't have enough to. We were having a little laugh and joke coming into lodge, saying, send one up inside. But yeah, no, it wasn't enough.
But still a strong result, nevertheless. Thoughts ahead of Silverstone next week, buddy, for round 6?
I really enjoy Silverstone, but I aren't saying that just in case I'm slow. But yeah, I do. I like a Silverstone. It should be good in these.
Brilliant. Well done on the second place tonight, mate. Anyone you wanna thank before we let you go?
No worries. Just some of my sponsors that you might see on car this time round. I forgot Street Diner, so I've got to mention them first this time. Street Diner, Date Racing, Torco, Nimbus, Patty and Sauce sorted me out with takeaway last night, and then hopefully Lucy for sorting me out some tea tonight.
No worries. Okay, Traffic King, thank you very much for joining us, buddy. Well done on your second place, and we'll see you next week.
So, cheers, lads.
Well, Mr. Woodhouse, good evening.
Good evening. Hello.
Well, that was a bit of a elbows out battle between you and Ben throughout the majority of that race, was there?
Yeah, pretty much start to finish. We was bumper to bumper. He was ahead for probably 9 laps. I'm going to say 9 to 10 laps. Managed to keep the pressure on. He was making a few mistakes. It was coming. It was just eyeing up where it was best to make the move. Yeah, I think I ended up getting him into the chicane down the back straight. It was a little bit slower through there. Managed to get past there and just hold the pressure back off. So yeah, it was a really good race, to be honest. Really, like you say, elbows there the whole race. Yeah, brilliant.
Awesome. Silverstone next week, round 6, fast flowing. It's going to be an interesting test for the high end eye, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Like you say, fast track. Going to be keeping that high speed stuff up pretty much the whole circuit. So, be interested to see how it offers up compared to obviously the other cars, and trying to adjust the setup accordingly. Just eat the max out of the car.
Well done tonight on the podium, buddy. Anyone you want to give it a shout out to before we let you go?
Again, say it every week, but I mean it's the same. Thanks to everyone for turning up and putting on good, clean racing. Like I say, without everyone who turns up, puts practice in behind the scenes, that's something you don't see. Obviously, a lot of drivers put in a lot of time, a lot of laps, a lot of hours, perfecting the setup and trying to eke out, the last few temps, and that really makes for, good competitive racing, which you can see on the race day. So yeah, just thanks to all the guys, thanks to you guys, obviously for putting on the stream, and yeah, hopefully that carries on.
Brilliant, Luke. Thanks so much for your time, buddy. We'll see you next week for round 6 at Silverstone.
Guys, thank you. See you later.
So a big thank you there to Luke. Last but by certainly no means least, 4 wins out of 5 so far this season. led from lights out to checkered flag, but had a bit of a squeaky bum time moment on the last lap of the race. Jake Hewlett, good evening.
Good evening, Alex. Gentlemen, how we doing? How we doing?
All good. How are
sweating,
you
mate.
feeling after that big old faux pas you nearly threw in the path of trafficking? It could have allowed him to go for the win. He did say, "Oh yeah, oops, I've just made it interesting with your words on the voice chat." I understand.
Yeah, it was quite. Dent check what's in me pants, so to speak. Might be something there, but yeah, it was quite interesting. There was a few of those moments, but that one was certainly the biggest one. I don't know why. I just felt like throwing the car at the scenery every other lap.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you weren't the only one throwing cars at scenery. I mean, we had, I think, during qualifying, free practice. I think before we went live on air, there were quite a few people finding alternative racing lines and doing their best Valtteri Bottas mowing lawns impersonation with the front splitters of their cars. But you know, this gives you now, I think, a pretty, you're close to hitting nearly 200 points now after that victory. It's looking like the rest of the drivers have got to bring their A game to you over the next 3 rounds, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, like, look, at least everybody's exploring, like you say, taking the Valtteri Bottas line. I think everybody's been exploring a lot with the cars as well. I think Luke touched on it that a lot of us actually work. You get it in a lot of series, real world racing and so on. That a lot of us work incredibly hard behind the scenes, put a great deal of time, more than we would like to admit, into actually, dialing the cars into the track. And I think it's going to be really.
Hold on.
What?
Mr. Hewlett, we spend a lot of time dialing the cars into the tracks. There's the man who done 4 laps and 1 in quali.
That was today.
Rubbish.
I'd done 200 plus prior, just for context.
You should have put that in. I made you sound like a hero in the broadcast, but now I know.
No.
Sugar-coated.
If I could do 4 laps and just no, absolutely not. There's no way with this level of driver. There's obviously a bunch of really talented guys in here. Hence why we're in here, because it keeps us all pushing. But going back to next week at Silverstone, where we are on the points and whatnot, I think it's going to be really interesting. The BMW's really fast. Super good on the top end, obviously really good in the high speed stuff. I think like the i30N also is a bit better in the high speed stuff. The hatchbacks are naturally going to suit the shorter, tighter circuits. And then obviously the tire management, there's a lot of tire management going on as well between some of the cars, like to make the car work. You have to manage the tires in the run. Some don't, some do. So it sort of ebbs and flows, I think. And some cars are obviously quite a bit stronger than others in other areas. But it's working out well. Really quite tight there. I mean, 0.4 between me and Trafford at the end. It obviously showed it was a pretty close race. Although we didn't get really close. It was still close in reality, right?
Yeah, definitely. But well done tonight, mate, on the victory. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, obviously, just a massive thanks to you guys for putting on the broadcast. Virtual Circuit Racing, Luke and all those guys who do all the hard work in the background as well, setting all this stuff up. Obviously, everybody who's joining into the event and so on. Massive thanks to my personal title sponsors, Europa Racing and Mill Street Motors, as well as everybody else, and my side sponsors who helped me out in the background and on endeavours outside of this and in here. Just massive thank you to everyone for the support and keeping us moving forward.
Brilliant, Jake. Thanks so much for your time, mate. We'll see you next week for round 6 at Silverstone.
Have a great evening, guys. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, so I made him sound like a blinking hero, and he weren't.
I know, and he just went, "Oh yeah, I did 200 laps." Just for context.
Oh, well, knickers to Mr. Hewlett now. Then that's it. I ain't believing anything he says anymore.
Auntie's big bloomers.
Yeah, exactly. Ames is apparently cooking cheeseburger macaroni. So I can't remember if that was for Traff or Josh. One of them's getting cheeseburger macaroni. So there we go.
Well, hey, at least it'll be a nice, tasty meal with meat and carbs. There you go.
I agree. So there we go.
But Silverstone next week, the home of British Motorsport, the full 3.66 mile layout. I think, the BMWs, I think I'm going to go back to what Jake said. BMWs are going to be strong. They will have the biggest amount of top end. But then when you see like the i30, that is no slouch either. Cupra could be a bit of a dark horse, but who knows?
Oh, are they really going full length?
Yep. Full GP.
All right. We'll have to see how that one goes then. Sorry, I'm not a lover of the full GP British Grand Prix circuit at Silverstone. I've got to be honest, I prefer the little one. But
Oh,
yeah.
you mean like national or international?
It's the national,
circuit?
isn't it? I think it is, or the international.
Yeah.
I'm just going a quick Google. I think it's the international. I think I
Yeah,
prefer that one. It's a lot better, and especially for closer racing with these cars. You're asking cars that generally don't go quite fast in comparison to go a long way, and I think I would have gone probably international at Silverstone, but hey, I'm not in charge, so there we go. Don't matter what I think, but looking forward to it and seeing how it gets on.
Well, that's it. That wraps up our coverage for round 5 out of 8 for the Virtual Circuit Racing British Touring Car Championship, live here on the JP Broadcasting Network. You've been in the company of myself, Alex Goldschmidt, and James Parfitt. We all hope you have a wonderful weekend. Of course, those that might be deciding to do the twice around the hour clock viewing experience of the Crown Strike 24 Hours of Spa-Francorchamps. But don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There's plenty of racing action we've got coming up over the next couple of days. So until next time, race hard, race fair, and if in doubt, well, you better go flat out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Same place next time, next week. Till then, good night.
Jungle.